said you were getting your judge shirt on for your reenactment.
No,
Get back into character.
I won't be on screen actually for this one. The room is too much of a mess. I can't even fit the little boards behind me.
You should just show your room of a mess.
No, 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 I'm not doing that.
Oh, that's coronavirus right there.
No, it's
No.
probably con crud.
It's me still recovering from my cough and the con crud.
You're weak.
Glad I got
Weak.
my voice more or less back.
I always leave LVO and I'm totally fine. I'm fine all week. You're weak. You are weak.
Whatever.
There's no such thing as con crud. You're just lazy.
Sure, Mister. I leave early.
Hey, that's only twice.
Are you batting 500?
I think so, right? Because I've done 4 or 5. Have I done 4 or 5?
No, this is our.
This is your 5th, so it's my 4th.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Still more than Tom.
Do you have the stream going?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, all that matters is he heard that.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure.
Oh yeah, hey, there he is. Oh my god, so good.
So you know what?
Yeah. Okay.
You're not live. Oh, there you are. You're live now.
Yeah. I'm live. We're live. It's been recording.
Cool. Hey, you can add like little icons to show what's talking through Discord.
We don't care.
I'm just trying to add production value to
You mean
your
like on
crappy
Twitch?
production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Through
stuff you
OBS.
can do. But it's a lot of work. Or it
It's
looks
really
like a lot
not
of
that
work.
much work if you know what you're doing.
If it's
You
not memes,
have
it's
a
a lot of
link
work.
you can send me later so I can figure that out.
John doesn't know what he's doing, so it'll be a lot of work.
I know more than you guys what I'm doing. So
That's because we're not willing to do it.
yeah. Okay, Boomer.
Get off my lawn!
Wow.
That's
God,
what
I
Adam
can't
says
wait
all
till
the
I'm
time.
old enough to say that. I cannot wait.
Life goals. It's important to have life
Everybody
goals.
can't wait till they're 21. I have not been able to wait till I'm like 55.
To say get off my lawn.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I have to make sure I have a lawn before then. I'll probably have to move out of California for that.
Come to Oklahoma.
John, yeah. No.
Maybe. We'll see what
No.
happens.
Hey, John, you know how much I bought my house for? You ready?
I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
Sure.
83,000.
And some twine.
86,000 and some twine.
Fuck
I
yeah.
think I already
See?
told you the story.
No. Maybe. How much had I had to drink?
Oh, that was the night you were super grumpy.
Oh, so I'd had so much that I was then grumpy. that sounds about right.
Tequila John came out.
No, I was just grumpy because I was starting to get a hangover at dinner.
That's why you got to keep drinking.
I couldn't. If I kept drinking, I'd have gotten sick.
Weak.
Whatever. At least I know myself and I don't puke in my bed and then sleep in it.
Oh my god. I didn't know if that was puke or shit that I saw.
It's puke.
It could have been
It's
either one.
puke.
I know, but still.
Still gross.
Either way, it wasn't a healthy color.
No.
No.
No, not at all. No.
Oh man.
All right. Do you want me to count us in so we can actually start the show?
You can count us in so we can actually start the show. Just not yet. Real quick over the show notes. Which I didn't send to Jason.
I don't even have them open. It doesn't matter.
I don't care.
You
Just
never
whatever you guys want.
You never know. It's basically we'll talk about the BCP thing first because that's what everyone really wants to know about. We'll mention the A-Long thing, the reveal, and how disappointed everyone was. And then we'll talk about basically the tournament, the Shadow Round, the top 8, whether we got Karen'd or not.
People actually want to hear about the TJ Lanigan versus Justin Lois incident.
Well, that's part of the
Karen?
tournament part. We'll start.
Which one of them? Which one of them's Karen?
No, we'll have to tell my juice story, which I think I told you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. But I was actually stop that Karen. We didn't stop the other ones.
I didn't get Karen at all.
We got Karen as a group. not
think-
necessarily individual.
I think people just understand I don't care. So they don't
It's not.
bother.
It's not even that. It was more a general frustration with the event, and we'll talk about that as we
Yeah,
talk about
well,
especially BC.
We didn't have total control over that.
Well,
so.
true.
Yeah, John, remember the guy yelling at you because he couldn't make his own wedding?
He wasn't yelling at me. He was yelling in general.
Yeah,
See, this is wrong. You bitches think people are talking to you. They're talking at you. There's a difference.
yeah, I know, right? And then just takeaways from the event, and then Twitch and Patreon questions. So it should be fairly quick.
Okay, cool.
Depends how long you go, John. Really, it's up to you.
I'm not going long.
Wait, John, do you have your
tired.
judge's shirt on?
No,
Sorry,
I
the
have.
reenactment.
I have oh, you know what? I do have a judge's shirt on. I have the black one on. I didn't realize I put it on when I was like changed to move all the crap around in my apartment.
That's funny.
I pulled it out because I was like, God, I couldn't wear what I was wearing to work to move all the shit in my living room so that they could do the carpets tomorrow. So I pulled out that shirt and put it on. I didn't realize.
You know that. Always in judge mode.
I actually have a camera in your room, John.
I mean,
You could.
yeah, I would too.
All right, John. Whenever you're ready.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. Tonight, we have a special guest, Jason Horn, the Warhammer Hero himself.
Hey, we are all heroes today.
I hate you so much. As
was waiting
always,
for
we
that.
have...
I'll accept your compliment. I'll be a hero with you. Fuck Adam. He doesn't have
Thanks,
to be a
John.
hero with anybody. I'll be a hero with
He's never going to be either.
I am not hero material.
you. It's as close as I'm ever going to get being a hero, so
True.
I'll
I
take
think
it.
any of us, at least any of us on the show.
Probably.
Yeah, true.
We've discussed this.
Yes.
As you can hear, we have John, as always, back from his fresh stint reenacting the stock market crash, 1929, which happened this Friday, apparently.
What was I
and then-
reenacting? People
Something
jumping off
crashed.
buildings? I don't understand.
Who
I
knows?
was in
I don't
Vegas
know.
with you.
It is Vegas, so there could have been people jumping off a building.
No, that's not Bally's. That was MGM.
And then Danny, as always.
Hey.
So we'll jump into it. We had LVO this weekend. It was interesting, to say the least. I don't know how Danny or John would describe it. As everyone knows, we did have an issue with BCP once again. But on
Interesting
Interesting
is-
works.
but on
It's
a much
fair.
In an understated, it's in an understated kind of way. It works.
So as we all know,
So we're just gonna
BCP
jump
has
into this or what?
this yeah. I mean, I
Don't
could make
bury
it
the lead.
It's
Just-
fine. I'm fine.
I could bury the lead.
I mean, that's
Hey,
every
hey,
other show. You guys
If
just
it
jump into
bleeds,
things.
it leads.
Well,
And-
it certainly did.
And something was bleeding out all over the internet.
Good morning, Neil. Yeah, so we'll just jump into it because I know that's really what people want to talk about.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
And so what ended up happening was essentially, at least from my perspective, is BCP crashed towards the end of the first round. I mean, if everyone has seen the apology 5 days later or 4 days later or whatever, they seem to explain it. But at the time, at first it was just the pairings, correct?
Yeah,
No.
we first noticed an issue with the players reporting their scores weren't
Yeah.
visible to the players. We
And
could
then-
see them on kind of the master
And
side,
then they would
but
submit
not.
them like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there'd
that
be like
didn't help.
4 submissions.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I don't know if BCP was trying to fix it when all this was happening, or
It was
Yep.
symptomatic or what?
yeah, I don't know. Jason, you might have a better idea of what was going on back then. I don't know.
Yeah, I basically showed it to Garrett and Casey, and they started to get work the problem. And basically, what had happened, obviously, if you read the apology tour that they had, they there was one part of the software that was doing the list parsing, which kind of gives a breakdown of what units people are taking, had actually clogged up the Google server because they only want to allow like a certain amount of data through. But even at 500 kilobytes, I mean, when you have 800 people plus all the other events, like pulling all the data through that pipe, it could be gigs and gigs of information, and apparently doing that all in once is not really good for your database. So basically it stopped working. Fortunately, they had all the data. So the LVO judges were able to be the heroes of the weekend, as usual.
Yes, it turned into.
Keep going.
It basically turned us into data entry monkeys.
Oh, that was the worst part of the weekend. Oh my god, I was about to kill someone.
Yeah, that was not very much fun.
It did give us a few good memes though, with John sitting at the computer.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't make the memes till we were done, and it was afterwards. It was too busy trying to save everything to make memes.
No, the memes made about you. People are making memes about you.
Oh, that's right. Me working. Oh, I think I put a couple of those in here, so you'll see those. You're not going to see me on camera tonight because my room behind me is a mess. So much so that I can't put the thing behind me I normally put behind me. So you just get memes today. No meme.
That's what you're really here for, anyway.
This is true.
Actually, the stream is honestly a lot better now.
Who fucking invited this guy?
I like having Jason on all of a sudden.
You could actually replace me with him because, like, he also knows technology that you do not.
And he's Asian.
And he's better at it than I am.
Well then, who's gonna come up with all the salty memes?
I mean, I'll still do that. That's
John
just
can
fun.
still
That's
do
just,
that.
That's just plain fun. Memes are life, my friend.
So towards the end of the first round is when we kind of, I can't remember if we had to start. Is that when we started taking the scores in ourselves?
No, that was the second round.
That was the
second round,
Between
right?
second and third, because we didn't know if everything was going to work or not.
Yeah.
Like
they
gave us no timeline ever for when things were going to start working again.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest problem that BCP did. They just didn't communicate like, "Hey, give us an hour, give us 2 hours to get this fixed." It was just like,
I mean, but realistically, did they know? I don't think they realistically would have known, right?
They didn't.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. So we were running on the assumption we were going to have to do everything, including pair the next
Manually.
round.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again, it was. I think it was about we noticed problems at about 11:30. The round ends at 1, or 12:45. By noon, I was already gathering scores by hand, and we started trying to get the data from BCP and let's start manually pairing round 2, right? And because I knew it wasn't going to be up, because I saw the look on Garrett's face when I went up to him and Casey, and both of them were like just trying to fix it. So, it took us. We were an hour and a half late on round 2 because we had to manually pair it, and then we were at 2 hours late on round 3 because we had to manually get all the scores, then manually enter them and all that kind of stuff.
We were almost 4 hours late total. It was ridiculous.
We were 4 hours late total, yes, because the round 4 hours, because the day normally ends at about 7. Instead, it ended at about 11, I believe. So
something like that. Yeah, it was ridiculous either way.
11:30 round. I remember we started the round timer at 8:30 for round 3.
Yeah.
It
was a long. Yeah, it was a long round.
It was a long day.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of frustrated people, to say the least.
We didn't hand out. We actually hand out less cards, right, at round 3.
The funny thing about round 3, I know.
The players were more pissy, but we actually were less likely to card that round, I think.
Yeah, there was the one person I probably should have carded, but I didn't because it was like round 3, like 10 o'clock, 10:30. I was just like, I'm too tired. I don't know.
There was somebody I really wanted to, but I didn't.
Yeah, I think the lateness.
I think because of that, yeah.
Well, same with me. Yeah, there was someone I should have carded, but I didn't.
You have to give people allowances for the fact that they've been there for 12 plus hours, and BCP was down and people were canceling reservations, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah,
you can't expect people to be on their best behavior, nor can you expect us to make totally objective decisions. Because I know I was super pissed because we missed our dinner, and I look forward to that every fucking year. So like I was super salty, and I didn't want to make a decision based out of my own frustration, right? Mm-hmm. So it was kind of trying to err on the side of the conservative side of, that's probably not really worth a card,
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, we should get BCP to take us out to dinner next year.
That'd be great.
To that restaurant.
They also then need to pay for airfare and babysitting.
I think.
Hey, don't you have cats? Right? Don't you have cats in California? Cats are great babysitters.
I have 2 cats, and that's not true at all.
I have one. My cats
are fucking useless.
Yeah.
Hey, not if you're Asian. They're delicious.
Oh, okay.
I actually made the joke that to my daughter today that when we were getting home tomorrow, what are we gonna do before we get her for dinner? I was like, with the cat. And she's like, if you eat cats. What did she say? Something like disown you, but I don't know where she would have gotten that word. Probably because I say it to my sister all the time. She's like, if you eat our cat, I'll disown you. And I was like, it works the other way. I disown you.
Oh my god. So I don't know what else to say about it. I was I'm more disappointed than upset at this point.
I'm a little upset still. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really like Casey and Garrett. I've worked since BCP launched. Like, I helped like basically alpha test BCP before LVO. I've worked with them super closely because I was always the BCP one of us. And there's been the ups and downs, but I've worked with them to try and get things through. I mean, most years Garrett and I are sitting there going through ITC scores together for best in faction, figuring out how to do Renman, all this kind of stuff. So like, I really enjoy those guys, and really value them. And I know they worked as hard as they could, but this wasn't like, oh man, we were an hour late. This was a catastrophic. If we didn't do something, the event ends, right? Like you would,
right.
Like, I don't even know what we could have done other than cancel the Masters, right? Like,
well,
it was just
we would have
catastrophic.
Had like a 4-hour delay between round 1 and 2, and then it's just, I don't know. Like, yeah, if we hadn't stepped in and done it, that it would have been a huge, huge delay. Like 4 hours or 3.5 hours or whatever it ended up being off the top.
Yeah, well, so what ended up happening for those that either didn't know or weren't there and didn't know, we allowed people to play their third game on Saturday at 7:00 before the fourth round was officially supposed to begin.
But not that many people even did that. It was only like 36 players.
It was a fair number of people, but I mean, a lot of people, I think, like the guy that was upset because he was getting married that Friday.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to go get married, and his new wife, actually woke him up early so he could make sure he made it to the Saturday morning round 3.
Dude, that's when you know you've married up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even though he was upset that he was going to get married, he didn't realize until later that he could do that, and he was able to play his round.
But see, if BCP had communicated to us like, this is a major issue, minimum 3 hours, just we could tell everybody like, hey guys, BCP's down. It's going to take us some time. Come back at 4:00. will hopefully be working by then. Round 3, you can either play late tonight, you can play early tomorrow, right? We will have round 3. We could have gotten way ahead of things, and people who had plans could have planned, right? Everything kind of.
Or even people who didn't have plans, they could have like gone and gotten food.
Right, or taken a nap.
Yeah, or taking a nap. Some people need that power nap, baby.
Yeah, that's actually a couple of the complaints that I had got at LVO is that players felt like they were hostages in the hall because they didn't know when we would fix it, and we didn't know when.
Right, they didn't want to go do something and they get a notification on their phone. Pairings are up.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
You have 5 minutes to get to your table or get wrecked.
Yeah, at this point, I say disappointed now because I'm over the anger phase of it, and it's just it. And for those that don't know me, usually you only have to burn me once, and I'm just done. So this is that moment. This is that instance, and both Danny and John know that. So, especially with a local player and that's just the way my dad is, especially, and just the way I am. It just takes one time. And this is that one time.
I don't know.
For me personally.
Yeah. For my confidence to be restored, there's got to be some major something or other that goes on.
So I did talk to Garrett and Paul a little bit about that, and the one thing that they were missing was essentially a crash plan just like this. Because believe it or not, there's been tons of pairing softwares before, like in the 40K realm, Torn to Fire back in the day.
Yeah.
I see there was like a Magic uses pairing software, and I heard like back in the 2000s, this apparent Magic software at a big major tournament like deleted 3,000 players' records.
Yikes.
So yeah, that's pretty bad. So at least the data was there. That's all I gotta say. But like I said, they need to come up with an effective crash plan in case this happens again, like a quote offline mode, where TOs and players could put in their scores, and then we could pair up.
Sure, but what they really need to do is just take. It needs to be run locally. It just needs to be on two separate servers. You have one set run locally for all the players that are there. That gets set out, and when you want to post the pairings to the wider BCP people, it just goes to a separate set. It goes to a separate server. Basically, you just have the two disconnected. You run the one tournament locally off a localized server, or like not even it's just a different portion of the cloud, and then you push it to another portion, so not everybody's pinging the same site to find pairings. I'm sorry, but the fucking plebs in the cheap seats at home don't need to know what the pairings are the second they go up. The people in the hall need to know the pairings the second they go up.
Yeah.
So you delay it, or you put it on a separate server, a separate site, whatever you've got to do. But like, it's not fucking rocket science.
It's just computer science.
It's not even computer science. There are people who code shit way more like complicated than this on a daily basis. It's the fact there's no redundancy at all. 4 years in a row of nonsense, and every time it's getting crashed because too many people are pinging the fucking site. So why don't you just host the goddamn thing locally?
Well, you would think they would have put a backup after the time the scores were deleted.
Yeah, but they deleted an entire fucking round.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yep.
So that incident is more isolated because that was just like a mistake. What we consistently have,
it's all a fucking mistake. It's still a mistake to not read the terms of service accurately for your new update prior to the event starting and not realizing that you were going to get data capped. That's a fucking mistake too. It's all fucking mistakes.
But what I'm saying is, even if that was a mistake in terms of that getting deleted, it was still we would think you'd have some type of backup for that after that.
Well, my point is just that most of the errors we've had with BCP have been data related, not enough servers, just too many people pinging the site at once, right? Like, and every year they say like, okay, well, we've done X, Y, and Z, right, to prevent this, and then and they actually keep getting worse, right? Like we tend to run later every year.
Mm-hmm.
especially this year. I don't, we couldn't ever top this year, because if we did, then it would just be like,
if we
again,
did, we'd
super
probably have to
catastrophic.
eliminate one of the rounds. We'd have to go like 5 rounds.
If we did, I'd fucking
Yeah.
walk over to the wall, press that button we pressed, it turned off all the lights, and leave.
Pull a fire alarm.
See you, everybody. Goodbye.
And I'm out, bitch.
I'm out. Everybody take whatever train you want and get the fuck out.
I mean, it's fortunately that the next LVO you're going to be still going to have to miss Sunday again.
I think so. I don't remember. I had to look at the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, and the response by BCP initially that weekend, especially, not the one they just gave like today or yesterday or whatever, but the one they should have given during the weekend, is mainly what what angers me the most, I think.
I can definitely agree with that, because I was the one making all the pairings, and that freaking sucked.
Well, yeah, and I had to do the data entry, and I didn't leave my data entry job to do data entry in Vegas. So the weekend. It's like, I'm in Vegas, great. Oh, I got to do data entry. Oh, great. This is just like work, but not fun.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't.
And the visual isn't as fun as work either. I don't even get that.
I think we got paid less than minimum. Actually, we didn't even get paid. It was like a volunteer job. I think my family overseas that makes shoes made more money than me that weekend.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, the whole, I mean, the whole during the event, like, and you saw some chatter about it online, like on Friday, Reese and Frankie, after streaming all day, are walking around, shaking people's hands, saying, I'm sorry, right? Just eating crow, even though it's not their fault, right?
Mm.
And I didn't see the face people of BCP doing that, right?
No, they're too
one
busy
of them
playing the
still had to
tournament.
worry about playing in the tournament.
Getting yellow carded.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
That was day 2.
I mean,
True, but-
think about it this way: if there was a competitor that could do what they do right now, FLG would switch.
Yep, I could see that.
Like they would absolutely, and they'd already fucking announced it too.
yeah, that's not even a question.
Like LVO would have ended. Hey everybody, thanks for coming. Don't worry, next year we're going to be using these guys.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jason has the point of just, hiccups happen, but like the fact that there's not like a dedicated crash plan of what happens should the app become unusable. How do you still facilitate your one job at the event, which is to do the pairings and, all of that kind of stuff? How do you make
But it's
sure
not
that
just do the pairings. The app is used for doing the pairings and disseminating the pairings.
Yeah.
Because with an 800 person event, 780, whatever it was, right?
Yeah, it's close to 800.
Disseminating, you can't just be like the old days where you print out a piece of paper and like tape it up like 8 pieces like all over the hall. You can't do that anymore.
Oh, that was fun times.
With 780 people, you have to be able to disseminate the pairings, which we found out with Rand 2, and I was like, cool, I'll just put it up on an FLG post, and I did that, and the Frontline Gaming site went down.
That was
okay.
the best
So
part of the
Facebook,
weekend, by the
let's
way.
put it on
That was
Facebook.
hilarious.
And I come back to the table, I'm like, you know what? You know what we used? We used Google Forms, and we used Facebook. 2 things that it doesn't matter how many people are pinging it, your fucking 1,000 people in this hall aren't going to crash Google or Facebook.
And I mean, plenty of places use Google to host the army list also. So
Yes.
I mean, there's options out there, and I don't know if there'll be options in the future, but we'll see what happens. This year will be very interesting for a number of reasons.
Yeah, I can see us. I can see the ITC at least slowly migrating to a different solution. But you're just not going to
even if it
offboard everything all at once, especially this quickly.
I don't know if it's gonna even be for the whole ITC. I just see at least LVO using maybe a proprietary or just something that's not BCP. Just for
LVO.
Just for LVO.
I hope for the judges' sake that we get to test this, because there's no way I'm doing this 2 years in a row and missing dinner at Bizarre Meats again, because I am going to do something terrible. I can't even put words to it right now.
There was a moment where I almost was like, you know what? Let's just leave.
I really thought about that too. I was like, we could still make a reservation.
Yeah.
I'm not going down with this ship.
The only thing that kept me from doing that was that Reese and Frankie were still there.
Yeah.
And if they're still there, I'm still there.
I mean, can you imagine being in Reese's state of mind, like having to stream the games and still be positive? Well, everything is like on fire.
I don't know how the two of them streamed games and were like responsible for that event. And because it's not just 40K, they're responsible for the whole con. You know?
And more importantly, BCP didn't just go down for 40K. BCP went down for the whole con.
Yeah. Which is not as big of a deal when like your 30K narrative has 20 people in it.
Right, but still, if you're trying, like, I think the X-Wing guys mentioned how they never used BCP before, and this is their first time using it, and this happened.
What's X-Wing?
Oh my god!
Like how many players are playing whatever that is? Is it like
20.
literally they play with like little model X-Wings from Star Wars?
Yes,
they're pre-painted, so that's.
Do they like zoom around and go pew pew?
You can if you want.
Sick. I'm gonna play X-Wing.
Sure, you can play Legion too. You and Snyder.
No, I'm not playing any fucking Legion. I know what that is. I'm not doing it.
But still, I mean, for organizers, TOs that are using it for the first time at LVO, or even for the 10th time, you know, it's frustrating when your event, you know, and then that happens, not just for 40K, but for all the other events. Luckily, all the other events, or maybe unlucky, they don't have 800 players, so they didn't have the impact that it had on 40K. But, you know, it still happened. It's still frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the one thing I learned is that
how to code.
No,
sure, Jason already got that down.
I couldn't learn that in a couple hours. No, the one thing I learned is that, you know, when you don't have something, you absolutely miss it. And so even though BCP crashed, I'm so super happy as a TO that it does make my life easier when it's working most of the time.
And it works sometimes. Most of the time. The problem is it didn't work in this instance.
The problem is when it doesn't work, it's a spectacular Hindenburg failure.
Yes.
And that is always it's always at the biggest marquee 40K event in the world every year that they go down like the goddamn Hindenburg.
And it gets worse.
Yep.
Like
that's the thing, it gets worse. Right. It's not like, oh, well, we're getting, you know, we're figuring it out, it's getting better. It's like each year it's like, damn, this is just, how is it still bad? I mean, did you guys talk about the X-Wing?
Yeah, I didn't know what an X-Wing was, and they explained it to me.
Oh well,
no, God damn it, John! I mentioned that X-Wing was trying it for the first time, and this just is like, why would we use this? We're never using this again.
Yeah, now FLG is basically like, nope.
I gotta read this comment in the chat. BCP, what's better than one Titanic incident? 2 Titanics.
Sounds like a meme right there.
Oh god, yeah, it does. I'll have to do that one later.
So with the rumors of a new edition or an updated edition, what happened with BCP, it'll be an interesting year this year, and we'll see what happens at LVO next year. I personally, if depending how things go with the new edition. And with what happened, and with Marines, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I don't think we'll have the same attendance that we did this year.
If we're lucky, we'll break even.
Well, yeah, what's wrong with Marines? I hear they win everything. What's wrong with Marines? I don't understand. I have a Marine army. I'm going to take it in 2 weekends to the tournament locally. What's wrong with Marines?
So in my opinion, I think Marines are actually preventing more people from not playing the game than BCP actually than BCP. I could say, I feel like I feel comfortable saying that.
But what about my unkillable Leviathan Dreadnought? What about my 3 Thunderfire cannons, 3 quad mortars, and 3 Scorpius whirlwinds, where I win a game in 15 minutes?
You better get that while you can.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, let's talk about the GW reveal real quick. They had some AOS stuff.
There was a GW reveal?
There was. It was not as 40K focused as previously.
Lizards.
Danny's happy because he's getting Lizardman. We actually discussed playing Age of Sigmar.
That's how bad that shit was. On the whole drive back from Vegas, Adam and I were like, so Age of Sigmar, huh?
That's just because I wasn't in the car to stifle all your Age of Sigmar conversations like I normally do.
Well, for the league this season, I'm only playing as Ringer. Danny's running it. I can usually play about 2 games on co-running. I can usually play about 2 games. So if I do a Ringer in the early, I can play with Danny Age of Sigmar in the evening.
Yeah, I'm not playing the league because I don't like the format.
I'm not a big fan of the format either, but
I just don't like. I don't know. We've talked about this. I don't like being forced to play specific people who then can't play ever.
Right.
I don't, and I also like leagues are like times where I want to play my friends, and I can't ever play my friends because I'm being told who to play. I just don't like it.
No, I get it. I'm for the same reason. It just limits too much of what you're able to do in terms of your schedule.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that. The new I forget what's the name of the light elves? It's basically light elves.
Lumineth.
Whatever.
But there's like nobody in the armor, right? So they're like elvish thousands.
Only for the hero.
That one hero.
So the one hero is the inverse of Ahriman?
Yes.
Kind of.
Everybody has a body except him.
How very inventive, GW. Where'd you
go? They're just high elves.
Yeah, basically.
So it got so high it became dust? Kind of like Ahriman got so high that he made everybody else dust?
Oh my god. All right, moving on.
Thank God.
They had the Kador cavalry.
Nope.
At least that's what it looked like to me.
They really do.
Along with the little bat dudes. Engines of War. New Gazgel model. That's basically it for 40K. It wasn't too exciting.
It was pretty
I'm happy about Gazgel.
Yeah, it's fine. He needed a new model pretty badly. So does Ragnar Blackmane. Hint, hint. Come on.
We get a Zote. We got a Zote for Blackstone Fortress.
A what?
Yeah.
Zote.
What the hell's a Zote?
Exactly. I mean, I remember what a Zote is.
That's some
but you're older than dirt.
True.
Yeah, I already made the boomer joke. How many times do you want me to make it?
Oh my god.
Can Adam say "get off my lawn"? I feel like this was an appropriate "get off my lawn."
I have a patch of grass, which is literally a patch of grass.
He does, yes.
That's not really a lawn.
It's close enough, man. You can tell people to get off it.
I guess I could.
I can tell people to get off my lawn too, but it's just homeless people sitting out there.
Yeah, they're not going to listen to you.
And I don't really want to do that because like their life's bad enough already. I don't need to make it any worse.
They had the animation teaser trailer for Angels of Death, which looks pretty cool. Then they also have what they announced where we talked about your Thunderfire, your Scorpiuses. So I guess they're redoing the Forge World books and the Forge World units.
Yeah, and by they
we mean GW, not Forge World.
Correct. Very good.
So hopefully we'll get more.
I mean, I still think they should have just hired me to do it, but that's fine. Whatever.
All right, sure. That's what everybody says.
You would have just buffed Space Marines again.
That's not true. Right? I would have just nerfed everything Eldar.
They're already nerfed. You don't see anything from the Eldar Forge World line anymore.
Good.
So we'll see. I'm curious what they'll do, especially things like the Leviathan, which everybody uses, and the and stuff like Sakaran, things like that people used to use.
I mean,
hey guys, I don't mean to derail, but did you guys know that they're building it to Titanic 2?
Yeah, I saw that. That was announced today.
So I feel like it's very interesting that, BCP crashed more than twice and the Titanic 2 is being built again. So
it would be quite apropos if also wrecks and sinks.
I'm sure
about the app or the ship?
I'm gonna tell you this: I'm not going on it. I love me a good cruise, and I'm gonna avoid that one like the goddamn coronavirus plague.
I'll send my wife on that cruise.
Damn, bro. Fucking
Take a large insurance policy.
Yeah, make sure you get the insurance policy like at least a year in advance, so it's not so not so suspicious.
Well, this isn't recording, right? We're just talking.
No, this is recording.
And then they announced Warhammer Heroes. We won't need to talk about that.
That's nothing important there
It's
because we
just
are all Warhammers.
It's just
heroes,
a bunch of
guys.
chumps. But congratulations to Jason Horn, who is named Warhammer Hero, because he's the only one that can make it to Adepticon. I think that's one of the requirements.
Yeah, that's where I pick up my big old fat medal. Do you think it'd be?
Oh wait, they announced who they are at LVO, and they don't give you the thing until Adepticon?
Yeah, you have to be able to go to Adepticon. If you can't go to Adepticon, they're not going to give it to you.
Well, you also have to get nominated.
Yes.
And none of us are. So
I think I want somebody to nominate me once, just as like a joke to see what they do.
Ignore it. Like
just
they
ignore
do
it
us anyway.
Yeah.
We need to get like a lot of people to nominate me so they can't ignore it.
I think
campaign.
It would be hilarious.
John Warhammer Hero.
Well, we don't use Salty John. We just say John, and then we just have to put a hook in there, like some sob story.
No, we just gotta hope they never have listened to the podcast.
I feel like they would do more research than that.
I don't know. They picked you.
Touche.
We just need a hook. That's all we need. We need a good hook.
Yeah. Like
you know what? Make it one of your
like a good
Patreon
Drukari
competitions.
Yeah, right. We should make one of the competitions.
It's around that same time of year.
It is. That's a good one. I like that. Okay.
You're welcome, John.
All right.
Oh my God!
I'm a Warhammer hero.
You imagine if John actually got that award?
I'm just gonna declare myself a Warhammer hero.
It would be hard. Well, you can after this weekend. Oh my God, all of us could.
Yeah, like I said, all the judges were Warhammer heroes. Adam.
Moving on.
Let's not lump Adam in with the rest of us.
Whoa.
I agree, John.
I was typing away. I have my carpal tunnel syndrome to prove it. We did issue a red card over the weekend to a player. For those that don't know, we red carded Aaron Along. Not for one incident, but for multiple incidents over the course of the weekend.
There's a meme in the scrolling memes that's quite prophetic. It's almost exactly what happened.
God.
Whereas I'll just take a yellow for my thing being incorrect. I'll just take a yellow for this.
Yes.
What do you mean my next yellow's a red?
That's more or less what happened. Too small, like this is the one where it's literally that. It's where you take that's fine, I can just take that one, and then it kind of snowballs into more. Over the course of the weekend, I think we gave out about 30 yellows. Yeah. Including the yellow that turned into a red.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't that much, all told.
No, actually isn't. I think we gave. Yeah, I mean, but again, that third round, a lot of us were kind of tired. So let's talk about. I
always like how the public always wants more.
More red.
Yeah, they always want more.
The crowd always wants more blood.
We could red like 100 players, and they still wouldn't be happy. They're like the fucking Romans in the Colosseum's cheap seats.
It's more or less it.
Drunk out of their mind, probably high on whatever the Romans got high on. Calling for blood.
Sounds about right.
Hey man, people,
red card the overall winner just because.
Hey,
red card.
Do you guys know how many Thunderfires or Dreadnoughts we removed?
Not very many.
No, they were all like pretty good. Like there was a lot of nonsense online because people on the internet like to make a big deal about shit. But then everybody who was there was like, "Oh yeah, I just got the real one."
I think Mitch said like 6 or 7. It was just like you can count the amount on two hands.
Out of the hundreds that people brought, it was under 10.
there was a lot of like they didn't include the back braces or the legs that go behind
guys, just build your goddamn models correctly. What the hell?
Hey, they got them from China.
So
they can't all have back braces.
I don't know. Did those China forged models also come with a side of coronavirus?
God.
Only this week.
I was waiting for that joke.
There's literally one of the China forged sites is down and has a message that they don't have the staff right now to do anything because their staff is not allowed to come back into the province.
Yeah.
It's like somebody sent me that and I'm like, holy shit, you gotta be kidding me. And there's a meme in there about it too. It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
So we'll go. John, how's you were only there 2 days. One of the important days.
Mm-hmm.
So other than the how's the Saturday for you?
Saturday's fine. Whatever.
Nothing exciting.
Not really. I mean, like, I had to watch a game for a little bit that ended up being I was watching the game and the player that everybody thinks I was watching the game for was actually fine and his opponent was being an idiot.
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
And I'm like, I'm here because this guy is like a problem player, but I probably should have red carded you like 4 times already. Or yellow carded you like 4 times already for weird shit you're pulling. And like, I'm sorry, but you guys are fucking wrong. His army did not, those models in his army did not meet standard. The standard we were using was the GW standard, not 3 colors.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's that guy.
Yes. And then one of the models in the unit was not on the correct base. If the model was one type of unit, they'd all been on one type of base. If the model was another type of unit, they'd all been on the one type of base. But he had them mixed, which is wrong. Like there was at minimum 5 yellow cards that could have been given. And I wasn't even at the table supposedly to watch this guy.
Yeah. If
I had been holding him to the standard he wanted me to hold his opponent to, he'd be gone. Like twice from the tournament.
So, you know what shocks me is that...
Nothing shocks me.
You are a teacher.
It's true.
It's like people expect, the problem players, they know that we're watching and that we want a reason to give them cards and eventually game losses and kick them out of the tournament. But it shocks me that people expect themselves to also be held to that same standard. Like people that aren't wanting like are that we don't think they're problem people, and eventually those people turn into problem people, and then we have them on our cheat dar, I guess is what we can call it, right?
Yeah.
For next year.
There's the list.
It's
all Adam's head.
It's the same attitude where, and I mentioned it in the initial speech we gave some players before the tournament even started, where it's like, I'm the best driver ever. Everyone else sucks. It's kind of that mentality.
Right.
It's like, I'm not a cheat. I'm a stand-up guy. This guy's a cheater.
Everybody's a cheater but me.
Exactly.
Everybody I don't like is Hitler.
Wow.
Everyone I don't agree with is a communist.
Or a Tau player. But yes.
Why would you just state a synonym? I don't understand.
They're the same thing. Danny had to work the shadow round.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't come in early, did you? Because I think it was just me and John.
I was there at 7:30.
Rob was there early with us.
Oh yeah, Rob was there because he didn't have to do the friendly until later.
And he was going to he did paint judging for us that morning too.
That's right, which was a great help.
Yes, because I don't do that. I end up getting yellow cards when I paint judge.
I don't paint judge because I don't paint. Or I try not to. But that was another long day because of the 7:00 start, and then Danny and Thomas had to do the shadow round
as well as the final paint judging.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes. Right. That was that evening. So that was another long day for Danny.
I got on my plane and it boarded at like 8. I think it boarded at 7:50. I think I was in my seat and asleep at like 7:52, and I did not wake up until it landed at like 9:20.
Oh my god! I went to
That
sleep
must have been
early,
nice.
so I went to sleep at like midnight. Danny, what time did you go to bed on Saturday?
I think like 4.
Somebody did the pub crawl.
That I do every year. And then I went and got Wahlburgers with Carson.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Wahlburgers
like-
at 4 a.m.?
Yeah, like 3:30.
God damn. Why didn't we realize Wahlburgers was open Friday night, Adam? Instead of well, those hot dogs are pretty good, I'm not gonna lie.
There's actually a Dirt Dog in Pasadena.
Is it really? That's good.
Yeah. Just FYI. But yeah, so Danny stayed up. I saw that text to stay up. I had the celebratory drink with Jeff after Jeff made top 8.
Nice.
So if you want to listen to an episode with someone that made the top 8, just listen to Focus Fire next week. Right.
Proudly brought to you by the TFG radio network. Yeah, the shadow realm was honestly fine for like 95% of it. It's super in the shadow round, it's super quiet because everyone's out of the hall, and it's actually really kind of creepy because you're in this huge space that's like dead silent, except for the people who are like kind of playing their games. But because of that, and everyone's tired, it's usually really chill. People are kind of talking softly. It's really nice. And I was, tried to be very clear at the beginning, like make sure you guys are communicating with your opponents, right? Like express your intent before you do something, yada, yada, yada. And there weren't that many judge calls. I think Boris called me over in his game the most. And that's because and those were for legitimate judge questions. Usually I got pulled over for just, hey, give me a line of sight real quick. Oh, okay, thanks, right? And it wasn't till the game that I'm sure everyone talks about, like that really didn't get really chippy until like turn 5. And I was watching the other games. Thomas was mostly camping that game once he was done with paint judging. And, it was one of those things of it's 11 o'clock at night. You've been playing Warhammer for, 13 hours, 14 hours. And, they were both tired, and they were, it's one of those things people love to act like they didn't do anything wrong. And it takes 2 to tango. If you're like, oh my God, all we're doing is arguing this game, like you're the worst opponent ever. It's like, you need to be involved for that to happen, because you could always just shut up and walk away, right? You can always choose to disengage from an argument and not feed it. So if you're just sitting there bickering, you also have to understand you are actively taking a role in that, right? And both players were kind of doing that, and it just, it was really more just like annoying of like, I really had the thought of like, damn it, I can't actually just red card both of them, can I?
You could.
You could.
Not without screwing up our pairings.
Nah,
Who
just
cares about the pairings? Fucking do it.
It was a passing
Do you think it was
thought.
warranted to red card both of them?
Honestly, no. I mean, I think because it's the shadow round, because it's so late, and it's, oh my God, if I win, I go to the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
I understand people get a little more intense than they normally would, right? I think you have to make that allowance. If you don't, you're going to end up probably carding way more people than you need to, and causing more problems than you actually really are justified in doing. So really their behavior was fine up until the very end. It's just, the reality is neither player involved did anything specifically that really warranted a card, right? Like they weren't being very collegial to each other. They weren't communicating very well, but neither of them was cheating. Neither of them was attempting to be insulting, right? Neither of them was being, I would say, intentionally unsporting, right?
Mm.
Like it was just one of those things of, I was right there ready, for either player, right, to do something that I thought was like, okay, you can't defend this position. You just can't be like this. But it really wasn't until after the game that their exchanges got very heated. You know what I mean? Like the game was over, they had tallied it up, and that's when they really started kind of going at it.
I mean, in the future, you could, well, I mean, my experience, my opinion, you can always card someone even outside of the game, especially if it's right after. But I wasn't there, so.
Yeah, it was like I said, I think people blow things out of proportion. Like people act like they were saying they're screaming at each other and they really weren't. They were sniping at each other and they were bickering, kind of like an
a
old
married
married
couple.
Yeah. And part of it too is I wasn't the one like always at the table, right? So I didn't have context for everything going on. But it was just people have that standard of like oh, that guy's a fucking cheater, you need to card him for everything. And I'm like, well, if we reflect upon ourselves, what does that say?
Right.
But in general, it was not a pleasant game at the end. And I mean, I don't, like I said, I never saw anything directly for me that would have warranted coming down on somebody harshly. I talked to both of them, right? Like I talked to both of them quite a bit after the game of like how to better communicate, how they are perceived, right? What their impact is of how they communicate. So hopefully they take that to heart.
So you basically had a heart-to-heart with Justin Lois?
And TJ, mostly focused on Lois, but TJ, again, I think there's this narrative here that TJ somehow got like cheated out of his top 8 spot, and that's just not true because again, it takes 2 to tango, and he was not. He put this way, he was not totally passive and like everything's fine, it's okay. Like he was definitely getting aggro, which I understand because he was upset about losing and he wanted to, he had really bad dice rolls his last turn and nothing was happening the way it needed to happen for him. So I understand that he was frustrated, but there's definitely, I think someone from a neutral position looking at that game could argue that maybe he was the one being more aggressive. I don't really know. I don't know TJ well at all, and I don't know Lois at all. So, and like I said, I was only there at the very end, and I didn't even see the main like charge issue they were trying to figure out. I didn't see the beginning of it. I just came in right as like an Overwatch was rolled.
What was the exact issue? Because I don't remember hearing about
so the specific to what I could gather was that TJ was trying to use some stunt bases to like plan out a charge to have his healthy demon prince absorb Overwatch from 2 of those like gunboats, and then be able to maybe consolidate into the dreadnought, and his hurt demon prince could then go into both Scorpiuses or whatever they're called without taking Overwatch. Lois was saying no, that wasn't possible because TJ had rolled really low, I think like a 3 for his charge distance, so he didn't have enough movement, and they were arguing about that, and it just kept going and going. I think when I came up to the table, TJ was literally taking Overwatch, so I don't really know how they walked through it if TJ just gave up or what, but then TJ lost his demon prince that way. His wounded one and his healthy one couldn't kill two of the tanks solo, so. And they did kill a drop pod, so like it was like a 3-point swing.
Okay. Well, I mean, in the end, Justin was bounced in the first round as last year.
Yeah, well, he was Siegler. Yeah, well, because they were fighting for the chance to fight Siegler. I don't know who wants to really do that.
I don't know if the result. To be honest, I think the result would have been the same, no matter who went.
I don't know if TJ's list, if the Possessed Star could handle the heat of Siegler's list, especially with Siegler piloting it, because he's so conservative and so methodical. Right, it's hard to get a seam on him.
Yeah. Plus, when Lois played him, I was there when he got seized on, and then first turn, Lois takes 20 mortal wounds from an exploding Scorpius disintegrator from the vehicle, and then another 10 wounds after that. It was horrible. It was hard to watch. But Jason, how was your weekend? Notwithstanding your programming on Friday.
Calling out my Asian roots.
I just said programming. I said nothing about Asian. Stop being racist.
I'm not racist. I am Asian. So how is that being racist?
You're self-hating. There you go.
Self-loathing, maybe. Anyway, no, the weekend went fine. BCP actually worked for days 2 and 3, and I was pretty ecstatic because I didn't want to go through that again. And then I guess I had to run. I was voluntold to run the RTT.
That's yours,
Adam.
That's yours forever.
I might just have to leave Sunday again. I might have to pull a John. He's not even here, so I guess we can make fun of him. That's
I'm
great.
right here, man. What are you talking about?
So good.
So the RTT is cool. They actually they implemented a really slick feature with BCP where obviously the brackets are single elimination 8-man RTTs, and what BCP was doing is once you lost the game and you selected start next round, it would actually drop the players that lost in auto pair. So we actually didn't have to write things down on a bracket, and I was still exporting all the placings after every round just to make sure nothing had
just in case.
Yeah, because I didn't want to have that conversation again. So
I know. Every time I saw and using BCP the rest of the weekend, every time the little circle started going, I did pucker up a bit just in nervous anticipation.
Agreed.
Just in case. I'm like, please work. There's some incense.
Exactly.
Say a prayer.
And then on Sunday we had to since Danny just like after the final game he just kind of left. I think he was super tired.
Yeah, we just left.
Yeah, you guys left, and so it was really funny. Thomas and I were looking around and we're like, where did all the judges go? Because it was just literally me and Thomas, and I'm like, and then
have fun, you guys.
I know. And then Pablo shows up. He's like, all right, Jason, I need you to put together a script and make, we need 20 certificates for all these events that I forgot to make. And we're going to put all this stuff on you right now. I'm like, what?
Oh my God. That's too funny.
Yeah. So the new guy got hazed, and I had to make all these certificates for the hobby track and for a couple other Age of Sigmar events that didn't have plaques. And then it was really awesome having the BCP guys there, because Garrett was able to pull up all the rankings in BCP, and we had created an award script. And it was really cool because apparently we took the award ceremony from 2 hours last year to like 45 minutes, 50 minutes. So that was awesome.
Did you save those scripts for next year?
I have them in a Google Drive, so it'll be pretty simple.
Nice. So you're all set for next year.
Yeah, we were already starting to plan next year.
For myself, after Friday, Saturday, Sunday went fairly smooth. Sunday was actually not as stressful as Friday.
Yeah, you weren't even there.
I was there, but I was over at the champs table with all the important people.
Hey, you know what?
Well, they didn't see me.
I should have asked for a break. I didn't get my union break.
That's right.
You gotta take union breaks, man. You just take them. That's the key to the union break.
Union, man.
Yeah, that's basically it.
There's a funny story, real quick, of tangent of I went outside into the back like loading bay, where they have like a keypad now that locks it from the outside. I was going back there so much the security guard just gave me the passcode.
Nice. Nice. Like, damn, dude, I don't want to keep putting this in for you, man.
No, it was more, I'm tired of you propping the door or smoking on the loading dock balcony where you could get hurt and then I could get sued.
That makes sense too. Understandable.
Yeah, man, Friday was just so like long and stressful, and just I thought Saturday was actually Sunday.
It felt that way.
It felt right.
Way, yeah.
I lost my voice this weekend and it's still not fully back. And in all the years doing LVO, even when we had to do the call outs without the PA system, I never lost my voice.
Yeah. I mean, I lost my voice because I was recovering from my cold, but still,
it was rough, man.
Coronavirus.
It was a rough weekend. It was not easy.
no, I'll still go back though.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
As long as it's not like, oh my god, if it happens again, I don't know.
We'll see.
Man. But so
I'm not committing to anything at the moment.
we're only there for like a day, so
Whatever, dude. There's a lot of work that goes into that before we get there.
anyone who was there for Friday, right? Like
I know, right?
that counts as being there the whole weekend.
may as well felt like it. That's for sure. So we had joked. I don't know if we remember if we did it on air or not about Code Karen,
Oh yeah.
and we had a number of them. At least I did. I don't know if Danny did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think John did because you may have because it was mainly on Friday. I mean Saturday and Sunday. I stopped one, luckily, but he still got around that by apparently feigning ignorance. I'd have to ask Matt. But there was one that wanted to drop, and he complained about Space Marines and Iron Hands in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And he was literally like yelling.
Naturally.
And,
As one does.
I'm just
at an event full of adults playing with toy soldiers.
So I'm just saying, okay. And then he's yelling about how everybody's getting how nobody could figure out or nobody could find that all these Space Marine players have their lists are all illegal.
I'm the only person who knows all these lists are illegal.
That's more or less. I just say,
bro.
okay, I let him go, whatever. But the comment that stood out to me was that he said he was a thousandaire and could go play whatever game system he wanted. He wanted.
Thousandaire.
He literally said the word thousandaire.
Okay, Boomer.
It was an OK Boomer moment. I could have said OK Boomer. It was that big of a difference. I just said okay and just let him yell. And
I wonder how apeshit he would have gotten if you actually just said "Okay, Boomer."
Oh, he didn't stop either. He my God.
Yeah, he came back again and again.
Not even that. He just like talking to anybody he can get hold of. It was amazing.
Fortunately, we sent one of our minions to deal with him. Who gave
we didn't send him. He just happened to butt in, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Started
it was
talking.
his rite of passage.
It's fine.
I get
Somebody has to take the grenade.
Whatever. I just turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
The other one was someone who we had changed his score to a tie because he doesn't know how to do math.
Yes.
Yeah.
So apparently him and his opponent thought it was one score and then we redid the pairings or redid the score. We looked at the score, we looked at the numbers, and the math was wrong. We changed it, and he was very upset. He walked over to our table, yelled some gibberish because I couldn't hear him, but he looked angry. And he did look like a male Karen, by the way, just FYI. and then he just turned around and went back to his table, and that was basically it. I was just like, okay.
Nice. I like it.
But I didn't understand a word he said. I couldn't hear a word he said. The last one is the one I stopped. I get called to a table for a ruling, which is fine. This is the third round on Friday, so everyone's tired. Get to the table. Guy wants to say, hey, can you draw a line of sight to the base? And I said no. And his opponent wanted to know where does it say that in GW? I'm like, well, it doesn't, because GW does not define what a model is.
Right.
But one of the questions was sent to us, so we defined it basically as being the actual model. The base does not count. And I explained to him for this event only that the base does not count as part of the model.
Sure.
He gave me a little static. I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, that's how it's going to be. So he tells his opponent, hey, I'm going to, you can put the clock on my time. I'm going to go to the table and get clarification. So he starts walking around, and I don't know, just something clicked, and I immediately, and this guy, he's a little bigger than I am, which is taller at least, maybe not wider. But he starts to walk around the table, going towards the judge's table. I literally step in front of him, put my hand out to stop him like a traffic cop, and just like, no, you're not going to the table. that's the ruling. Just go play your game. And he's still arguing with me. I go, no, I'm not. You're not going any further. Basically, you need to go finish your game. I'm gonna turn around and
pass.
I'm gonna turn around and walk away, and you're gonna go play your game.
That's awesome.
He's still talking.
Yeah, of course.
So then, I just turn around and start walking away from him while he's talking. And while I turned around, I thought to myself, "Oh wait, that's that dude Juice from Battle Brothers, whatever that podcast." But I kept walking. I kept walking. He kind of went behind me. No, because I don't know if he thought I was going to card him or something. I wasn't going to because I was too tired. I was too tired. It was the end of the day, long day, whatever. And we kind of talked and said, "Well, just after your game, you can come to the table and get clarification." He's like, "Okay." So after that, come to find out later, Danny and I are walking by actually, and I see him talking to Matt, one of the other judges. But Matt didn't know I had already talked to him.
Oh, okay. So Danny walked up and basically showed the ruling that we had made on our judges page of where we said that, and that seemed to be to like calm him down. But when I talked to Matt after, he's like, "Oh yeah, he acted like he didn't know." So like whatever, I don't care. It's like,
yeah, I didn't even say anything. He was talking to Matt, and I was just like standing next to him, pulled it up on my phone, just kind of handed him my phone to read, and then just got my phone back and walked on.
Yeah, I just switched direction because I already talked to him, and I wasn't going to get involved at that point. It's like whatever. And so that was the other one that I know of. I know
I
we
had a small Karen moment.
There we go.
Yeah, I was. It was day 2. Actually, yeah. No, it was still day 1. Jesus, it all blurs together. It was a table right behind the judge's table, and I'm like walking to the bathroom, and this guy's like, "Oh, hey, let me ask you this question." I was like, "Okay." It's like, so I have Guide on my Seer Council, and I can use that to reroll hits in melee. And I was like, "Why?" Guide says range weapons. He's like, "But it's a singing spear."
Oh God, I remember this
range weapon. And I was like, "Sure, but it's a melee weapon when you use it in melee." And he's like, "No." And I was like, "No, it's a melee weapon when you're using it in melee."
No,
and
but
no,
you're
Can
right.
I get a second opinion on this? And I'm like, you want clarification? He's like, "Yeah, I'd really like another opinion because this is how all Seer Council players do it." And I was just like, I just didn't have the energy. I literally was like, "Okay," walked over to Adam, and the rest was like, "Hey guys," and everyone's like, "No." So I just turned around, went right back. I'm like, "No," and then just kept going.
There was a lot of there was a few questions about the line of sight that I got in regards to the base. It wasn't just that one.
Yeah, it's a weird issue. Oh.
It's just another one of those not GW, non-clear,
Yeah.
There was a few order of operation issues that came up. I had a lot of heroic intervention questions because the Blood Angels got that one where where a whole squad can heroically intervene.
Oh yeah.
So I had a few of those because they're like, "Really, the whole squad?" I'm like, "Yeah, the whole squad." It says unit, so it's the whole unit. Things like that. I don't know if you got anything that jumped out at you, John.
No, there's not any like rules things that jumped out at me as being like odd or
just like one that you constantly had. Like in previous years, there was always that one question that people just kept answering over, and we had to answer.
I got called to make line of sight judgments a lot, not like to base or whatever, like you were talking about, but like just in general.
Just in general, yeah.
They were like, "Hey, come do this line of sight for me." Okay.
Jason, how about you?
I was stuck at the table doing pairings all weekend.
That's not a lie. By any stretch of the
I mean, if it wasn't that, it was, "Can you make this certificate? Can you write this for me? Can I be your secretary?"
So your questions were, who's paired with who?
Oh my gosh, so many times. And can you put my score in?
Yeah.
It's like, does the app work? No, it doesn't work. I forgot my pin. It's like, do you know how to reset it? No.
Yeah, we also had the issue of after that whole incident, the database they restored with was the old one.
Yeah.
Like the one from before the event starting.
Yep.
So we were missing so many players, or
Yep.
a lot of players had, used someone else's name when they got the tickets sold to them or whatever. And a lot of lists were either incorrect because they were older lists that were corrected, or they were just not there at all.
Yep.
Which compounded some issues during the rest of the tournament.
Some issues.
But that was a whole nother thing too.
We survived. We made it.
We survived.
And
top
everybody's
8 was,
a Warhammer hero.
So top 8, like I was saying, 6 Space Marines made it to top 8, or more or less the Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because there's a lot of parallels to the year that Ynnari and Eldar were the 6th spots.
Yes, there are a lot
in
of
that
parallels.
The team, the quote unquote, the winning team essentially got together and built what they thought is the most efficient list as a team.
Yeah.
And they all took that same list, which is what happened this year also with Team Brohammer.
Yep.
So, and the other armies was our own Jeff with his orcs.
Mm-hmm.
And I already forgot who the other one was. Oh, Sean Naden with his Eldar. So
Space Marines are fine. I don't know what everybody's complaining about.
Well, Danny got
They're
to talk
clearly
to
fine.
Danny. What was GW's reaction to the whole thing? Do you remember?
They were very much like, I didn't know they could do that.
Wait, did we have the rules writer actually play this year? Because I know they were supposed to.
The guy in charge of the design team there.
He probably quit to go fucking gamble and drink after it took 2 hours for round 2 to start.
I would have joined him.
You're too busy tapping away.
I do want to say that this weekend made me a drinker and a smoker in one.
Well, welcome to the dark side, my friend. Except for the smoke
Nice.
part. You can join Danny in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Danny's always happy to have more people on smoke breaks with.
I went out there
this
with
is
him,
how I
but
get-
I wasn't doing it. I was just going out
This
there.
is
to get
how
away
I
for
get
5
all
minutes
the
from
good
PCP
cheese me.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and just like previous years, just like with Tau with the shit, I forgot what it's called now. The Eldar and Taudar.
Taudar.
Like
Triple
Taudar back
Thug.
in 7th.
Ugh, Taudar.
You
So
know,
gross. So
them
gross.
seeing this, or that when they saw, multiple flying hive tyrants at the Adepticon, it kind of opened their eyes to how people are playing, certain rules with the cogitated martyrdom, which is the key, the winning army. Which, for those that don't know, by Raw allows a unit to pass off their wounds like Tau do, but after they make their saves, not before.
Right, so you get double dipping on Feel No Pain.
Yes.
Tyranids could pull this off too with Hive Tyrants, and Hive Guard is just a 6+. Like at best, you get a 5+ Feel No Pain and a 6+ Feel No Pain, though it's just nowhere near as good as 2 5+.
Yeah. So if you're
Plus,
buying, if you're
three
buying
plus
Leviathans
four
right
plus
now,
four.
you may be in for a shock in a couple weeks. Just saying.
I already got one. It's sitting over there.
I know you might make it under the radar because you already had all the pieces.
Right.
But for anybody looking for those pieces that want to build the LVO winning list, enjoy it while you can.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? When do you think they're going to change it? And what do you think is the rule? What do you think the rules are going to be?
I think they may just make it more like the Tau, where you do it before you roll for your saves, because then it turns into just another
Or they might do it that you can't do it from vehicles.
Maybe like vehicles are unable to benefit from it.
Yeah, so you can't use it to protect a dreadnought.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't really know. In terms of when, I don't really know. LVO is in LVO. Adepticon is in 2 months. And usually,
Noble Few, as far as Chaplain Dreads getting removed, I don't know of any, but I do know a couple of Thunderfire cannons did. For the most part, everybody turned in their stuff on time or had conversions that met standards, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, Mitch might have a better idea if you listen to Best in Faction podcast. He'll probably let you guys know.
I still don't think it was that many, though.
It was a handful. Couldn't be more than 10. But he was walking around checking. He had the actual model, and you did too, John.
No, I didn't do any checking.
I thought you did.
I only checked when people asked me to. The best one was when Daniel Hester's got finished like totally trouncing this guy, and the guy who Daniel Hester's beat, his friend comes up to me and he goes, "Look, I don't want to be this guy, but I don't think that guy's Chaplain Dreads that just be my friend are legit." And I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." I walk over there. I'm taking a look at his dreads, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I said those ones were fine. Like, I think I personally said that those ones are good. So I went over to him like, "Hey man, I'm just gonna take a look at your Chaplain Dreads real quick." He's like, "I have the email that says they're fine." I was like, "Okay, cool. Can you show me that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he shows me. I'm like, "That's from me." And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Cool, you're good." People are funny.
Yeah, I didn't see anything too out there in terms of the conversions. There were a couple armies that looked a little less than standard.
Less than the GW standard, yeah.
Yeah, so, I was pretty pissed about that. We were really clear on what we wanted.
So I think next year, because there was that flyer list, that Eldar flyer list we looked at. Remember? I think you were with me, John.
Yeah, that one had like the detailing on it was interesting and made it interesting.
Right, sure.
Did this army have Doritos on their base?
No,
it wasn't banned
like that.
John did jinx Cedeno.
I did. I'm such an asshole. My bad. My bad, man. I feel sorry. I feel a little bad, but also not. Because I'm me, and I don't feel like
I do, because I had him in my pool.
Dude, that's what you get for playing Fantasy 40K. What the fuck is that?
It's a thing.
You were right to take
it's not a thing.
First.
It's not a thing just because some people do it.
It's a thing, John.
It's not a thing. You guys are terrible people.
The
Lord will judge you accordingly.
Oh, God.
It's the end times. You'll be judged according to your numbers.
Yeah, Yak Hunter is saying that Mitch said it was 8 Thunderfires and 9 Vibro Cannons.
Vibro? Who the fuck plays Vibro Cannons?
That was an Eldar. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think the 9 Vibro Cannons got pulled because they didn't have any crew models.
Yeah, that's another thing. There were a few Orc players we had to talk to.
He told you guys to put your... And every one of them was like, "Oh yeah, here's my crew in my bag."
Yeah.
It's like, put your goddamn crew out, guy.
Oh my God.
We told you.
Yeah.
Have your crew.
Stat Centers was out there in force with their drone flying around.
The couple of shots they got were good, but they couldn't get it really working that well. At least not the day I was there. The 2 days I was there.
Yeah, it was kind of the same. It would have been cool, but I don't know. I was afraid it was going to crash into the crowd, but
those things are pretty good at this point. Like that's
they seem, yeah. When I saw it, it was like okay, and then when they told me how it worked, it was pretty cool. But it was still nice having that alternate setup to GW, because as much as I like GW being there, to be honest, their Twitch stream leaves a lot to be desired.
It does.
Fortunately, I run a really awesome one that's only getting better.
It's true.
So, FYI, if you guys, I'll probably just invite Danny and Adam on the Twitch stream because John, you're really too salty. But
well, it's gonna suck.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna do Telestrator, but you guys that are shoutcasting remotely will be able to draw on the screen. So
we discussed this already.
No dick pics, please.
Total dick pics.
I'm just gonna draw Chaos Stars all over the Imperium player stuff.
Oh yeah. Are we still allowed to make fun of people's nicknames?
Sure, because if they're not on my team, I don't care.
Is that the whole reason you don't want me? Is that fucking baby guy?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That guy needs to get over it. You don't get to go to a tournament with a bunch of nerdy dudes and your fucking name on your jersey is Baby Maker. Okay? Everybody knows you got laid if you got a kid. Everybody knows you settled probably because you weren't going to get nothing better because of who you are. Don't go trying to claim you're a Baby Maker. That's enough.
I'm not saying anything. I'm done. I'm just going to get in trouble if I say something.
That's fine. I said it for you. I don't know this guy. Don't show up at LVO with your Baby Maker jersey, okay?
Listen, once we take over his computer, we can do whatever we want.
So
that is quite terrifying, to be honest.
I already told you, man. I got a whole sequestered file section that we can just upload right away. It's quarantined. We'll just upload it and open all the files at once.
Yes.
I'm definitely not going to get asked to do this now.
I know, right?
He might have been kidding before. He's definitely not kidding anymore.
I'm not kidding now. Nope, not at all.
That's right. We can have my buddy Pepper John on.
Pepper John. He's not as good as Salty John. I'm sorry.
He's nicer.
That's false. That's fake news.
I'm trying to get you on, John. Shut up.
Oh, sorry. Do I really need more commitments to this game that are not like, playing this game?
Yes.
You don't need to play this game. What?
Yeah, I think GW was surprised at the way the rules are being used.
For reasons
I've stated yeah, well, I've stated it before. They do not, and most people know this. They do not see the game the same way, at least the same way anybody that plays in tournaments, the way they see it.
Right.
So, which is understandable. And that's always been a thing for Games Workshop. They just never saw it that way. They still see their game as a beer pretzels game.
But do they live under a rock?
Yes.
Right.
Short answer, yes.
Sure, cool. All right, that takes that. Noble Floss said the same thing in the chat. He goes, yes. All right, guys, fair enough.
I mean, from Danny's conversation with them, right?
They do not seem totally aware of
reality.
The combinations people actually will use, right? Like,
nobody's ever going to be a dick and take a Leviathan Dread and use cogitated martyrdom.
On Farios, he's a special character. You wouldn't want him to die. Oh wait, he's like impossible to kill.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
I hate everybody.
Yeah, the guy running the Forge World shop was like, "Yeah, we always know what's broken because, like, the first day of the tournament, we get people in like, do you have Leviathan Dreads? Do you have Storm Cannon Arrays?
Do you wear Chaplain Dreadnoughts that I could paint right now in 15 minutes? Which you probably
like
could because it's just black."
The salespeople know it's the rule developers that seem to have that disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happens. Although, it's how it goes, right? I mean, I just don't think there's so many combos. It is really hard to find them all. But I just really don't think they believe players will actually do like the really weird abusive skew shit. And well, here we are.
Yeah, I think Peter the Falcon had to pull all kinds of data to convince GW to do that first Iron Hands FAQ. To convince them that no, this needs to be fixed.
God damn it!
It's not like it's like they didn't trust enough from the important players in the game saying, hey, we can do this. It probably should be fixed. No, Peter had to put all that shit together to convince them. And even then, I think it was like pulling teeth for them to do it. That's why we had that double FAQ that one day.
Well, then why in the fuck did they like nerf Salamander so bad? What the hell? Is this like selective hole in the ground or head in the hole? Like whatever. Like, never mind. I'm done.
It's because somebody on that team is probably an Iron Hands player.
No, it's because they're racist. The only black guys in the universe can't be good.
Wow, shots fired.
Whatever. It's a bunch of people that literally tried to enslave the world with their fucking empire. They can suck it.
Oh, History John's coming out.
It's like that joke that's been going around of people with Brexit being like, boy, now we finally get to have a proper Independence Day like everyone else. And then it's like, gee, I wonder what everyone else is celebrating independence from.
Exactly. We own half the world and own all of the means of production. Do we feed the people in India or let them starve just in case we need some more food during World War One? Let them starve. Should we outlaw slavery or not? And because we're afraid that the French might pick up the slave trade. No, let's not outlaw slavery. Let's just let it keep going. Imagine that.
And Jason wonders why we're not Warhammer Hero.
Whatever.
I don't have to wonder.
No one wonders why we're not.
He's going to be lucky if they don't take it away from him for being on the show.
If they take it away from me, I'm coming to see you, John.
You'll find out where I live.
Sorry, Danny will tell me. Adam will tell me. What is it going to be? Like 3 yogurt cups put together or something?
I'll make you one. Don't worry about it.
Why don't you just make me one anyway? Just see me in a year.
So,
wait, would it be too much if I wore my Warhammer Hero award while judging?
No. You should.
No.
You should.
Absolutely. No, you absolutely should. Because then when they question you, go, really? I'm a Warhammer Hero.
Yeah, but you wear a cape too.
The body cam.
Oh my god. It's a deep cut.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean, deep cut? I want to see. I want him to wear the body cam so we see people's reactions to him having the Warhammer Hero Award.
So, all in all,
I'm innocent as a little baby lamb.
Oh my god! So, congratulations to Richard for winning both ITC and LVO.
That's 2 years in a row now that the LVO winner was also ITC champ, right?
It's 3.
3.
Nadavati was the first one.
No, but wasn't Root in between there?
No, Root was before.
Brandon.
Oh,
it was Nadavati.
I have those years mixed up, I guess.
It was Nadavati, then Brandon, then now Richard.
And Root was before Nadavati in 7th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the year. See, that was the year Brandon lost to Brett Perkins in the finals.
Yes, right. That's right. I remember that now.
That was 7th.
That was the dark days.
Yes. That was the year of AdMech Orcs and War Convocation.
We're almost at that level of darkness again.
We are, I have to admit, we are, as much as I like 8th.
Yeah, the Space Marine dominance is pretty hard to ignore at this point.
Well, let's go into that. So takeaways from, again, congratulations to Brohammer, who won the top team award. And
despite being from Florida, most of them were quite lovely.
Well, there's always one on every team, right? So takeaways from the event. Space Marines are really good. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, they're something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was amazing to see just, round 1, you're like scrolling the pairings. You're like, oh, there's some walking the tables. I'm like, oh, Tyranids on Tyranids. And, oh, this is, a lot of cool armies. And then just as the rounds got later, it's like, man, the closer I get to the top tables, the more Space Marines I see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the more Space Marine on Space Marine matches I see.
Yeah, I don't know. My takeaway is people need to take this a lot less seriously.
Yeah, that's also, there's more than a few times where it's just like,
and if you live and literally don't throw rocks from the porch of your glass house.
For real.
I mean, what the fuck do you get off lobbing rocks at people about their shit when you are not playing tight and your army doesn't even make the standards and should have been legitimately pulled if it weren't 780 people and we couldn't check every army. Next year, I'm just going to have to be more of a hard ass with you people. I don't know what you people want. I guess that's what you want, I guess.
Well, next year, because it'll be the second year where we're doing the GW standard, people should be used to it by now.
Yep.
We should, but
you know what we're gonna do to punish these people? I'm gonna judge all the painting.
Okay.
And they're gonna go, why is my score -5? No, so you're not Golden Demon. Get out.
Yeah, that is one thing I will say. That it just needs to be clear of like, if you don't think you can win Best Painted or Red Man, please don't waste our time by putting your army there. Right?
Yes, please don't.
There's just so many armies where it's like, okay, dude, you did GW standard and then a little bit more. That's not good enough, guy. Like, did you freehand fucking Medusa on your knight? No? Okay, move along.
Maybe he just wants to know what his score is.
But I have transfers. I put decals.
I put rubber bands on my base.
Yeah.
I have a display board that's a mat inside my box.
That's a good one. And it matches my base.
No.
Hey, when you were judging the painting, Danny, was there ever a time when a guy was like, "Aren't you gonna judge my stuff?" I'm like, and I looked at it and I was like, "Do you want me to judge it?" He said, "Yeah," and I'm like, you know, this is like for best overall. It doesn't really matter for your ITC points. He's like, "Oh, I know, but I still want you to judge it anyway." I was like, "Okay."
You know, I'm never going to give you the score, right?
That's exactly what he asked.
You should have taken a look at it and gone 5 and walked off.
Oh man, it was not really good quality.
Yeah,
it was okay. I mean, it passed GW standard, but I was like, no.
No,
I asked him what his record was, and it was like 1 and 2, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, I just when people are like, I was like, oh, is this out for paint judging, good or bad? Just do the same thing. Just give it a look. But then when people come up to be like, hey, can I know what I got with paint scoring? I would just default to, yeah, I don't have access to that document. I just have access to the reporting card. You're going to have to ask somebody else for the database. You should go look at that guy over there.
No. You pointed Jason?
You bet I did.
Because I think Jason is that guy.
It was 100%
like a whole bunch of people.
Jason, your takeaway from all this weekend?
I think we should retrust BCP.
Honestly?
No, I'm just kidding. Half and half. I think they do need a lot of stuff. I had a fun weekend. It was good seeing you guys again. And can't wait till next year. I hope. Maybe I'll pull a John. Just won't show up on Friday because that's when things happen usually.
As long as you're there.
I'm always there on the days that happen. Like I leave Sunday. There's nothing ever going on in the finals.
True, the finals are generally pretty easy, if not a little aggravating, just to sit there and watch like one game.
Last year, I was assigned to watch the stream game the entire time. The GW guys were like, "Can we get John to watch the stream game the whole time?" And I was like, "Okay, sure, why not? I'll sit here next to your cameras and watch 3 games of 40K."
Yeah.
One of which was Snyder against Grant, and I'm like, so I get to watch 2 best friends have an amicable game. Okay.
You're right.
Although this
Did
year,
you fall asleep in that game?
I did actually nod off at one point, and Snyder made fun of me for it.
Yeah,
I was doing that on the clock.
Yeah, Adam was doing
the time when I
at
had
the literal finals.
Nice.
That's how exciting it was.
I did the Danny last year. I had 3 hours of sleep. So.
Yeah. Well, this year, what was a little different is for the top tables, because I guess people got used to this because of the Atlanta tournament of judges running the clock and keeping score.
What? I'm not participating in your fucking game.
Well, Danny kept score last year.
Yeah, I did that for the final game. And honestly, running the clock made it a lot easier on players just because they didn't have to worry about it.
We're in the business of making their life easier now and easier to play their game.
All right, that's
Should we
it.
start
John's
moving their models too?
No.
No, someone already did that.
Hey, that already
Yeah.
happened. So don't talk about that.
What? And
Not
at
during
our event, somebody moved players' models for them?
Not the top 8. It happened on Saturday.
I know, I wish you could see my face.
That's okay.
It's because you had already left at that time.
It's because you already left, John. That's what happens when you leave.
I told you guys
Wheels
you needed
fall
to put
off the bus.
I told you guys you needed to put somebody in charge for when I left.
We
Well,
did.
this
It was
happened.
Adam. He did a terrible
Wasn't
job.
me. That was not in charge. I already discussed this with Reese. So
Oh, what? Does somebody needs to be in charge when I'm gone?
no,
Okay.
in regards to movie models,
Okay.
it's already been taken care of.
Did he say, "What the fuck? We're not Nova"?
It wasn't on camera. It wasn't on stream.
Whatever.
But John, your takeaway from your 2 days?
I thought I already said it.
Did you just Marines?
No, I was don't throw rocks while standing on the
Oh,
porch of your
yeah.
glass house.
Right. You weren't even here for that.
I was. That was my thing.
Any questions in the chat? I think we're more or less done.
Yeah.
There's probably more to talk about, but these are just
I'm
initial
fucking
thoughts.
still tired.
Don't forget to
I'm
plug.
still
Don't forget to
fucking
plug our
tired.
tournament. Well, your tournament.
Oh, I guess sure, why not?
Battle for LA, April
you go. Thank
18th,
you, Danny.
19th.
The graphics has been up on the screen, but the graphic is incomplete without like dates and stuff because you haven't gotten the guy to do it.
April 18th and 19th. It's in San Gabriel, California, which is not that far from where it was last year. But look for Battle for LA on BCP
And Facebook.
and Facebook.
And
But
on
to
the
sign up,
TFG radio page. TFGradio.com.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna plug my event.
Sure.
sure.
So Iron Halo, late September. That it's gonna be the 25th, 26th, 27th in Oklahoma. 150 players. It's gonna be awesome. We'll have John's already agreed to come out and judge for us.
I have not.
Nice.
Look, I will go and not play in and judge the largest 40K tournament in the world. Anything else,
John,
if I'm going to go to it, I want to
Yeah.
fucking play in it.
John wants to play.
Okay, well you can go with Pablo and we're gonna come play at the largest event in the Midwest.
There you go.
And then I
Done.
can red card John. Hey,
I
all right,
would not
everybody
give you a
listening,
reason to.
use the Patreon money to send John to the Iron Halo so he can get red carded by me.
Yeah, that's not
I
happening.
support this.
Boy, what would I ever... I have played so many games of 40K,
I need to
and I've
guarantee
never
that he's
had
going
a
to get the red card.
single person complain about.
You know what?
Me
It's gonna be your
breaking
snarky
the rules.
attitude. That
I
is
don't
a
have the
breaking the
snark.
code
This
of
is
conduct.
a character. I don't have the snarky attitude at the table.
How do I know that? I just don't.
That's fine, but you can't pre-card me.
He can card you just for spirit of the game. All I have to do is say spirit of the game and just card you.
That's fine, but I'm not going to give him a reason to. Is the problem?
You don't need a reason. You just look at him wrong.
Whatever. You guys are little bitches. I would like to point out to everybody listening, though, that I gave Adam a hard time about his event and not having dates up and stuff. So when I talk trash about other people's events, just note I talk trash about my own event too.
Yes.
That's fair.
I will absolutely cut both ways.
Hey,
Yeah,
so
to the events you
Blackmore.
never even come to.
Yeah. So Blackmore 123, the largest event currently.
No, we don't
is
talk to
still
Blackmore.
Iron
We don't
Halo.
talk to Blackmore.
Blackmore, that's Alan.
That's
That's
Alan.
Alan Hernandez. We don't talk to him.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break the seal.
Sorry. I didn't give you the rundown.
No, you can go ahead. We were just kidding. You can
Wishful
talk to
thinking
Alan.
is asking, can he win best painted if the army's painted by somebody else, essentially?
I think so, right?
Yeah,
At
you can.
LVO, yeah, it's best army. It's not best painter.
Yeah.
How much time have I
it's just
spent
the
on
army you
making
bring.
these memes since Sunday? Not that long, to be honest.
Yeah.
They
Actually,
kind of write
John-
themselves.
Yeah. And John puts them out fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'm pretty fast.
We use BCP. But if I
It's
delete
fine
BCP,
for a small event.
Yeah. Wishful thinking, we already did talk about Paul's post in regard to the BCP issues. They don't really match up to what happened, at least from my experience on that day. So,
Whatever.
I don't know what day he's thinking about. How many players are in Flying Monkey, Jason?
They had, I think, 75 last year. We had 105 last year. And
so
we're going
Alan's
to
wrong
150.
again.
It's because he probably left the models at Flying Monkey. We'll pick them up this year.
Okay.
Also, if you want to see Alan Hernandez play an amazing game of 40K with Shoutcaster on the TFG team, come check out our YouTube video of that game. It is pretty hilarious.
It's great.
With lots. I think there was like lots of memes in itself that week. That one game.
And that's one of the few times we actually talked about the game, only because we were shitting on Alan about what was happening in the game.
Uh-huh.
You guys imagine if you had like ability to telecast in that game?
Oh my god, great! The best part was when somebody in the chat was like, "God, these guys are assholes," and we're like, "We're all friends with Alan. Leave us alone." He's literally on our team, and he's not getting us points right now.
I mean, it's because he forgot a whole bunch of rules.
He still only lost by a point.
He forgot like a whole. He forgot like a whole unit was inside a building, and didn't he let somebody like deep strike right next to them because he forgot they were in there?
Yep.
Yes. He still lost by a point.
Yeah.
And then he also forgot models on the different table. That was pretty hilarious too.
He's also a bigger dick than you guys.
I enjoy playing against Alan, but
I do too. I enjoy my games with Alan.
I think McShade22 has an issue. He has a lot of issues.
Yeah, well, we can't help him with that.
Nope. I still had fun at LVO. It was nice meeting everybody, seeing everybody, making new friends.
Mm-hmm. New enemies.
New enemies. Improving my data entry skills. I'm sure I'll be much more efficient at work now.
My favorite part was meeting some people and they're like, "Oh man, hi," and they're saying hi, and I'm like, "Yeah, I saw screenshots of what you said about me in a private chat once."
Nice. Was it true?
What? The screenshot? Oh, I've seen screenshots of people.
No, whatever you said.
What do you mean?
Whatever you said that was screenshotted.
No. They said I've seen screenshots of people talking trash about me.
Oh yeah.
In other chats, people send me stuff. Hey, this guy's saying this about you, and I'm always like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, whatever, guy. Thanks.
Man, that's some middle school bullshit right there.
I teach at middle school. I don't need to like have it in my Facebook PMs. Thanks.
So it happens when the world's most famous judge.
Yep, it's true.
Yep.
It's true.
I think we'll call it a night. It's enough, right?
Yes.
Yep,
More
sounds
than enough.
good.
More than enough. I think we went through everything we need to talk to. This is just basically our initial thoughts. Something will probably come up by the time we record again in a couple weeks.
I'm sure some backlash from things we said today.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
You know what?
It fucking happened. So
backlash from the truth ain't backlash at all.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if you have complaints, email getfucked@gmail.com.
Hey, that wasn't even me that time.
I know. Email, go fuck yourself.
If you have complaints, don't type them out because we don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can send them to us. I don't read our email very often.
Oh, we should totally have
we have an
Karen
email?
at tfgemail.tfgradio.com.
Yeah, email Karen.
No, it should be. I want to speak to the manager at tfgradio.com.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Hey, did you guys really want that email address? I can set you up with that.
Oh my god, you're like a nerd 24/7, even more so than most of us.
This is the best.
I'm sorry.
Can we just can we just absorb him into our podcast?
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to share him with Bam because he's usually on their show.
Hey, I didn't realize that guy was Bam.
Oh, that Brian?
Yeah.
You don't listen to podcasts. That's right.
I don't listen to podcasts. People think I'm lying about that. I'm not lying about that. I don't listen to 40K podcasts.
Anyone that listens to this, he does not listen. He doesn't even listen.
No, I don't even listen to ours. I'm going to go and edit this when I get off. I'm going to go and so I can put it up on YouTube and I can send the audio to Adam. I'm not going to listen to it.
And that's basically it. Make sure he sound good, and that's it. Done. The most he listens to is enough to listen to himself and just go, I sound great.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Hey, John, can you put more bass in your voice so that all we can hear is that blah, 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 and then...
I could if you want. I mean, I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, let's do like what other podcasts do.
I generally just use a parametric equalizer.
I have no idea what that means.
That's a lot of syllables right there.
Those are a lot of words, and I'm going to take that as
parametric equalizer. It's the one where you can pull the little dots on the line and you can go up and down. So I usually dial up the highs and the lows a little bit, but I leave the mids where they are.
Sure.
Okay, so
good night, everybody.
I know, right? On that note, that technical jargon note.
Hey, somebody appreciated that. Like, I'm talking to that one guy in Alaska.
John, any final thoughts?
No.
I think you asked him 100 times, old man.
That's fine.
He did.
Stop asking him.
Seriously, because I'm going to say something and everybody's going to not like it.
That's what I'm waiting for. Danny.
Although that was this whole episode, I think.
Danny, any final words?
No matter what goes on in a game, remember, if an argument lasts more than 2 exchanges, you're participating in it.
Our special guest, Warhammer Hero, Jason.
Thank you, but just remember, we are all Warhammer heroes today.
I knew he was going to fucking say it.
I know.
I knew it.
You queued it up perfectly.
Adam, your final thoughts?
I'll see you everybody next year, at next year's LVO. Thank you, everybody. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.